This is the challenge with Battletech. So many amazing machines, so many fun machines, and just not enough battle value to make it happen, or at least make it happen in under 10 hours of play. What I do is every game I like to take a couple of my classics, a couple of my favorites, those mechs that inspire me, those mechs that I have a history with, again, adjusted up or down for battle value. And then I like to take one or two machines that are very, very specialized, like the fire starter. You need the alignment of correct placement, correct map, correct scenario. But if you can pull that off, it's a lot of fun to play. And I want to capture that fun. I want to capture that enthusiasm. So I'm looking at my roster. What is that mech that you haven't played in a while? I'm going to answer it and then, of course, turn it over to you guys. The Jaeger mech. Now, this is a machine that I enjoy playing. I think it has some definite advantages. It's a lot of fun. But based on the configuration and the timeline, Intersphere timeline, you got to be careful because if you get in trouble, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. I view this as a support type mech. Now, when I say support mech, ideally it wants to hang back and just put a lot of dice down on the table and have a screening force of mechs or combined arms to keep you from closing. Support mechs, the first thing I think of, dedicated support mechs, I go to longbows, I go to archers, I go to LRM type units. I mean, if you've been following my channel recently, I pushed up about a week and a half ago to the Battletech archive a LRM Lance build. I love longbows. I love archers. You can indirect fire. So my first thought is, we're talking about a heavy mech here, heavy versus heavy or heavy versus assault. If I'm going to take something focused on autocannons, why wouldn't I go for something focused on LRMs? I mean, to kind of do a comparison, longbow versus Jaeger mech. Well, battle value for one, but also the challenge with LRMs. Yes, you have the indirect fire, but it's not consistent damage. It's not consistent damage. And in some builds, you want to have that consistency. I know with the autocannons, you have redundancy, right? We've got the two pairs of autocannons and we've got those medium lasers. I know with those autocannons, I am going to be putting out damage every single turn. Now, it's only 5 and 5 and 2 and 2. Would it be better 10 and 10 and 5 and 5? But we have to balance all this out. We have to balance ammo. Those are 4 shots with excellent heat management that I'm going to be firing every single turn. I've got extreme range. If I can keep you at range, I'm going to take those shots every single turn. And again, it's consistent. It's consistent damage. Now with LRMs and how it spreads out, we try to go for crit fishing in Battletech. Crit fishing is where you punch through the armor. Now it's gone to internals. And hopefully there's something nice there like some ammo or a critical component. And if you can just hit it with something else, could be a laser, could be a missile, could be a machine gun, could be a PPC shot. Yes, you want to do internal damage to hopefully blow that piece of the mech off. But if you can just hit it with something, maybe something will ignite, maybe something will spark. And LRM packs, with how they spread out, gives you a chance to hit at that range after you punch through to fish for those criticals, hopefully score those criticals. Well, I kind of gained that with the Jaeger mech with having the quad autocannons through consistent damage. It has enough redundancy. It's putting out enough shots that you can get something close to similar from the spread of the LRMs because you have 4 chances to hit. It's got some good shots. It's got some good stuff to put down. Now, like the Blackjack autocannon 2s, you're trading for damage, extreme range, and reliability. But it does have the AC5s. But when you look on now a heavy type mech, I discount the medium lasers. Yes, medium lasers are absolutely Intersphere, tech level, the best weapon in the game. And what I mean by that is you look at range versus heat versus damage versus tonnage. Medium laser is an amazing, amazing weapon. But as soon as you hit medium mechs, medium weight class, everybody's got a medium laser. You hit to heavies, you hit to assaults, everybody's got medium lasers all over the place. With that tonnage of a heavy mech, usually what you're looking for is some sort of big slug autocannon, or you're looking for PPCs, or you're looking for larger weapon racks. The Jaeger mech it kind of feels more like a medium mech. from that perspective. So it's not putting out the tons and tons of damage, but it's consistent. It has that redundancy. Okay, weakness. Well, the biggest weakness is for the heavy class and the tonnage. Armor's okay. I'd like it to have more armor. You've got ammo everywhere. You're very vulnerable to that. And it carries enough ammo that you're probably not going to empty it. And if you kick it out and eject it, well, then all you have is 2 medium lasers. And you're in trouble from that perspective. So if you can close on this mech, if you can have units engage at point blank with this mech and really damage it, it's going to go down pretty fast. And by that, the battle value buy-in. It's one thing to lose a light mech. And on a side note, you never really want to, I don't want to lose anything in Battletech, but the challenge based on the initiative system, once you start taking losses, not only is it reducing the damage you can do on the table, it's reducing the initiative. Even in winning the initiative, you might be outmaneuvered or outflanked. So to lose a mech, you make a mistake, you lose a mech, and it's a heavy mech. You've lost that firepower, you've lost that battle value, you've lost that initiative. It's very, very easy with this mech to get in over your head very, very fast. But the design itself, in my opinion, a lot of fun to play. If I can park it on top of good elevation, or in a previous game, looking at some pictures, I had this, we were playing City Fight, City Tech, and there was this long alley to the spaceport. And the only real way in was all the way down on the other side. No breaks in any of the buildings. They were very, very high elevation. Okay, you could smash through it. You could spend the turns doing that. No cover. I just parked my Jaeger mech there, and anything that came down, I started blasting. And it had that T section, so anything that ran across, even if you weren't going to come down this alley, anything that ran across, I'm just like autocannon, autocannon, autocannon. Just firing out. And I had some good elevation, too, to the tops of a lot of the buildings. When mechs were jumping up there, I'm just blasting them with autocannons. That was the ideal. That was the ideal setup. And in all fairness, I took this mech before we rolled for the mission and before we even knew what we were going to play on. I was willing to literally roll with anything. But in an ideal setup with that, where you have position, screening forces, and you can keep your opponent occupied, it's a lot of fun to play. So I've got this in my next rotation, and now I'm going to turn it over to you guys in the comments. What is that mech that you haven't played in a while and you are willing, you're going to commit to field on the table in your next game?